Hey Drito, it's the 20th of August 2012. So I was just randomly thinking, as you do, about stuff. And what came into our mind was the question in the title. Why is the Northern Hemisphere north? Of course I understand it's because we've made it that way, but this got me onto thinking, why are things called what they are? Why is a camcorder called a camcorder? Why is a book called a book? This is a basic question that any 5-year-old could have thought of. But though it's a simple question, it's still an interesting one. So that's what today's video is on. There's an entire field of linguistics dedicated to this sort of analysis. Etymology. It's the study of the history of words and their origins. But first, a brief history of language. The first written language is the cuneiform script around the 30th century BC. Though spoken language existed for a much longer period of time, a couple of dozens of thousands of years. There are two theories on how language began. Either one, it evolved from pre-linguistic systems from pre-human ancestors, or two, the evolution of brain into man. We suddenly got the ability to converse. But I think that's just part of the larger debate of evolution, whether it was a sudden change or a gradual thing. Either way, though other species can communicate, we are clearly the best and the only ones that use language, or at least a more developed form of language. Ancient Sanskrit seems to be the start of most modern day languages from about 10th century BCE. And for what Sanskrit doesn't cover, there's ancient Greco-Roman. Now we know the origin of language, but that doesn't really help with the question, why are things named as they are? And that's because there is no answer. We start to name things because of convenience. It's irrelevant what we call them. Well, originally at least. We could have easily called a table a chair, and vice versa. And to be honest with you, it has no relevance. What does have relevance, however, is what happens after these words are formed. We can track back, for example, the English language right back to its origins from around 100 AD from Germanic languages, and even further if you consider Latin as the father of English. But I have little interest to go in any more detail than this. We also have grammar and sentence structure, which most languages adhere to, which makes things clear and allows language to do what it does best. Communicate. I also haven't even answered the title question yet, but I want to give my guess before I look it up. In my opinion, it's just because Euro named it and they wanted to be on top of the world in more than one sense. Because if you think about it, in space, there is no centre. And without a centre, there is no direction. Therefore, there is no north. The Northern Hemisphere is north because we say it is. Well, that's my guess at least. After looking this up, I've realised that no one else really cares about this enough to write an article or anything similar about it. But I think my point is still valid because you need to define the direction before you're able to use it. And you can define north as you wish. Next time I see you, Adrito, you'll be 17. See you then.